Hi everybody, Marcy here, and this is my final flip through for my April ABC Junk Journal for the April ABC Junk Journal Challenge hosted by DearJulieJulie. And this is my journal. It is 5.5 inches wide by about 8.25 inches tall. I made a mistake in that I only gave it a 1-inch spine, which was fine for the papers laying flat. But it's about 3.5 inches wide with all the stuff and embellishments in it. Again, I wanted to try just an elastic closure, which would have been fine for a flatter writing journal, not so great for this journal. But covered it with some Easter fabric. It is an Easter journal. And this video could run a little long because I'm going to try to go through and point out each of my elements, A to Z, that I made for this journal. They're not in alphabetical order. Okay, so here's the front. These are pages from a children's book. I wasn't wild about the story in the book, but I did like the illustrations. So I ended up using the vast majority of the book. And each side has a pocket. And I trimmed each of the signature pages with lace, which is one of the A to Z items, L for lace. And here, you'll see it is fabric, it matches the cover, but this is my untried element in that this is fabric washi tape. And I've got to tell you, I absolutely love it. I used duct tape, carpet tape, so it's not real thick like some other carpet tapes are, and it works beautifully. Wouldn't run it through my sewing machine because it is super sticky, but I love it. Here we've got one altered tag where I used music, which is M for music elements, and I stamped on it for S, and then I've got a little napkin cover there. I've also got stenciling on a lot of the pages. Again, S for stenciling and stamping. And also on this page, I've got this flower, which is actually part of my eye image from magazine element. This was a pattern in a magazine. Actually, it was intended to use the pattern to cut the flowers out of wood, and I just cut them out and used them differently. And here I've got a basket weave pocket with a collaged part of a paper napkin here. Here we have music paper, so there's 2 of my music elements. Here is my collaged guest check for G. Here's another altered tag, which I've collaged. So that's another A. Here is a music paper corner tuck. So I think I've accounted for 3 music used in 3 different ways. Got some stamping here. On this side I've got a little corner tuck with which is completely torn out. So actually that covers T for the Terra page or element. Here we've got a little envelope which is E. I've got some note paper here for N. Here's a belly band, and I used paper and covered it with some lace trim. And inside that, here's some coloring book. Here's some more coloring book. And I stamped some words where I could in the coloring book, and it's just sewn in more note papers. My journal was getting so full that it would be difficult to write in, so a lot of the writing space I made removable. And here we've got a digital image that I made a flat altered paper clip out of. And tucked in there is a page out of a perpetual calendar, and I used lace there to cover the date. And we've got little things on both sides. And lace is L, digital image is D, B is bookmark. Here's my bookmark in a really long, skinny pocket, which also was made of music paper. And I left this side open and have a journaling card tucked inside there. Here is my keeping place, or part of it at least. I made an envelope and used buttons as my closures. So you've got a nice little place that you can keep something and tie it in. And here is a journaling card. This is made using a advertising catalog for newspaper ads, and the images I've used in this one are from a 1979 catalog, and so they're all black and white, and they're slightly pixelated like they would be in a newspaper, and it says, "From the smallest to the mightiest, all of us love Easter." And then here I've just covered it with grateful because it says store name here underneath. And it was just a general catalog, like I guess like a salesman's catalog. And I put that in a pocket. All of my paper is done with Easter egg dye. And this pocket is Easter egg dyed, and I used some fabric washi tape around the edge. This is a band from like what you set your Easter eggs in after you've decorated them. That's what this is. And then I had some Easter egg die cutouts. And we've got another altered tag. So I have stenciling here, stamping here. Here I did a basket weave side pocket, and I've just put 3 little tabbed index cards in. Here I made embossed pockets and collaged the back of a journaling card, a card for journaling. Now this one is, I'm calling this my extra. For me it was extra and untried and all of that. I had one of those little photo albums, 4x6, just the thin, sort of flimsy ones that only have a few pages in it. And I had one of those, and so I pulled out the pages, and I thought, well, that also makes kind of a neat either spot for photos or for something else. And so I sewed fabric to the center to sew the 2 pages together because they did not stay together well. Plus, I actually flipped it. The center of the signature was on this edge, and that's the open edge. And I wanted it the other way, because if I had the open edge in the journal, it would be hard to get to put anything in and out of. So then I used some more paper-backed fabric to put a little closure type thing there so that anything in there doesn't slide out. And another pocket with book illustrations and music and book words. And another die cut pocket with book illustration, and then this altered tag, which has napkin and paper cut, torn paper up here, and a little bit of stamping on it, and then everything has beauty. And over here is one of the full flower patterns from that magazine. And as I said, they were intended to be instructions to cut them out of wood and then use wire to make the stem. So instead, I put them in my journal and used embroidery thread to make the stem. But I left the leaves a little bit open so I could tuck something there, and left the top a little bit open so something could be tucked there. Here's the other side of the keeping place with more buttons and stuff, so there are 2 separate spots. Here is one of those newspaper images, and I just thought it was cute, so I cut it out. Somebody could color it if they wanted to. Here I've just got a butterfly paper clip. This is the front of a note card with lace and digital image, and then I put flowers in the corners, and it's a flip out. You could journal there, plus I put a note card in here so you could journal there, and it's held in by some of that fabric washi tape. Come over here and flip this up. Got some paper-backed fabric, and here we've got more paper-back fabric with a paper pocket sewn on top with Easter eggs that can be journaled on the back of. Got some stamping, then you flip it down, and you've got several sheets of Easter egg colored paper to write on. So that's my flip up, flip down for letter F. Over here we've got another digital image altered paper clip, and this says spring is the time of plans and projects. So I've put in a couple of sheets of to-do list paper. Here on this page we have a pair of pockets for P, got a stamped rabbit and some lace, and more of the coloring book page that I've been using, that I made a couple of little tags out of. And here we've just got a little corner tuck, digital postcard from Dear Julie Julie. All of my digital images are from Dear Julie Julie's Easter collection. So can journal on that. And then I've got a card and a ticket. And that's the end of the first signature. Okay, here we have, as again, these pages are both Have pockets so something can be tucked in. Here I've got a pocket with my recipe, and since I was using so many rabbits, I thought carrot cake was the most appropriate recipe I could use. So that's what I've done, and that's R for recipe card. Then got for Q, quilt block. So this is my quilt block, and it's made of both fabric and paper, and trimmed with lace for L. This page is full because this one also has my hidden element. Pop that up, and it's just the center where the rabbit is. And you've got space, and it's actually a relatively large space in that it tucks back and goes, you can actually tuck something all the way to the lace. And then I put this little tab on there to be sure that it stays down. If you want something hidden, you want it to actually be hidden. And so I thought that might help hold that down so that it's actually hidden. Here I did a flip up with a note card underneath. That's more of the newspaper advertising. This is my J for junk mail element, and my Y for yellowed element, even though I have lots of yellow in here. I've got just a little kids card, what's the same, what's different, tucked into this top pocket and edged with lace for L, flower and a little bit of bling there. And on this side, we have another of Julie's postcards that I've made into a journaling card. Here I've got vellum, and I've made a vellum window, and I don't know if you can see. I'm going to try to lift it up because I don't know that you'll be able to see on camera, but in person you can actually see with some clarity the image behind it, which is two children hanging over a fence with a couple of rabbits below. Put this tab on, pull it out. It's one of Julie's postcards that you can journal on. If you've never printed on vellum, take heed. I let this dry. I printed it out, set it aside, and I let it dry for a full 2 days. I checked it a couple of times. In between, I had a bad print and a good print. So I was checking on my bad print. And it took a full 2 days before I was no longer getting smudging. So just be aware, it takes a long time for inkjet ink to dry on vellum. And on my printer, it has a transparency mode, if you're printing on a transparency. And that's what I used for this. My guess is it uses actually a little less ink for a transparency than it would if you told it you were printing a photo. So that's what I used. Okay, over here we've got another paper clip and a couple of note papers. Oh, and that was my vellum for V. Here I've got my ombre, and I was really pleased with this page. I made a morning ombre sky, and which is what I wanted to do. I wanted like an Easter sunrise, but then I thought, okay, now what am I going to do with it? So I was looking through my napkins, and I saw this one, and I love the way that came out. So I'm in love with that page. And over on this side, got a pocket you can tuck something in. Here's the third flower from that magazine. with the 2 little tuck spots. And I guess I forgot, at least forgot to point out, but I've got zigzag stitch all over the place. I used primarily zigzag stitch just so I wouldn't forget. So I've got Z covered. And I'm trying to look real quick. Keep in place, jump mail, get an element. Okay, I think I've actually covered everything that's required for the journal. So at this point, torn out piece of paper on a corner tuck and another journaling card. I'd put a Easter egg dyed doily behind it. And that's on a music page. This is the back side of the note card that I used in the previous signature that can be used for journaling on a basket weave pocket. Here's another little corner tuck where I used paper as the base, and I put lace on top and a leaf and a couple of paper flowers with a smaller flower in the center, and a playing card and tickets, and another of Julie's postcards printed out small, which can be used for journaling. Then same thing, I did embossing on these 2 with big journaling cards, and I did the untried extra photo sheets for the center. And then we've got these pages. Here's another belly band with a nice big journaling card. Seek and you'll find all the treasures in life. Thank you for allowing us to serve you. And again, I just put a little strip of music paper over where it said store name here. And another little flat paper clip. This is from the newspaper advertising catalog, and I just thought, well, I'm going to just tuck that up under there because somebody might want to color on that. And another of the egg stands with an Easter egg and a journaling card. Here's an envelope with a non-destroyed note card tucked inside. And I've got a couple of more, a pair of pockets. This one I did first, the more standard pair of pockets for the challenge. And little tags with stamps, words, just some collaging on them. And this is the other half of the yellowed junk mail envelope. Have another little journaling card. Another of those play what's the same, what's the different, or what's different cards. And here I used a gift card box. Just flattened it out with a little tuck spot here, and I put a tag in here. And here's more of the coloring book page in a corner tuck with just a little journaling spot. And that is the end of that signature. Again, the back with more tuck spots. End of the signature and end of the journal. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. I've learned a lot of things from this. I will no longer be making the outside of my journal before I've made the insides. Like I said, it was fine until I started embellishing it. And I was having so much fun, I didn't want to stop. Even once I knew I should stop, I didn't want to stop. So that's the end of this video. Let me know what you think. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye.